Welcome to the 3Gen podcast. We are 3 generations of
life,
love,
and legacy.
And we're hoping to foster meaningful conversations that bridge generational gaps, sharing diverse perspectives and experiences to promote understanding, empathy, and connections across different age groups.
We are 3 generations of life,
love,
and legacy.
Welcome back and happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
We're here, the 3Gen podcast. I'm Pearl.
I'm Miss L.
And I'm Raven.
And we are so excited to be here. How are you ladies doing? 'Tis the season of spring, I guess we can say, early spring. The weather has changed. Spring break.
Is in the air.
Spring is in the air. Summer vacations and plans are in the making. So how are you guys feeling?
I feel good. I'm
happy.
Fantastic. I'm just happy. The sun's coming out. Spring is here. Spring is like one of my favorite seasons.
I was going to say, this is kind of your favorite time of the year.
It is. It's like the dewy winter season is cool and everything, but seasonal depression is real. I think sunshine just brings about fresh, renewing. The flowers are out. Everything just beautiful colors.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Favorite season. And that means summer's on the way.
Summer's on the
and
way.
It's time.
Summertime, fun time. That's what you say, right?
No.
Summertime, bun time.
Bun
Summertime,
time.
fun time.
I have not said any of that. Sun's out, buns out.
Sun's out, buns out. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Granny, how you feeling?
I think it's fantastic. I'm loving the change of the season. Springtime, everything is so beautiful. The grass is green, the different flowers. I mean, a little allergy, but hey, come on with it.
Bring it on.
Well, you look pretty in your blue. I love it.
Thank you. Match my eyes.
Yeah, you like an Easter egg.
Oh, okay.
So who has a hot topic today? What are we talking about today? What's the hot topic?
Raven, you have one?
I guess. Okay, so as you all know, Easter is coming up. And Easter always just brings about, I know the reason for the season, of course. But I think that when we are growing up and when what we teach young children is like, oh, it's Easter, it's time to paint eggs, the Easter bunny is coming. And, it just symbolizes that. And for a lot of young kids, I know that that's what they feel it's all about. I've heard them say, Easter bunny, I need an Easter basket, I need this. And I think it kind of just takes away for the true meaning of the season for them. Kind of the same way I feel about like Christmas and everything. And it's just, I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, why do you all start us off like that? Like, why does it have to be a symbolization to like just get us in the mood for the season? Honestly, I think it's a tale, a fib, and I don't think that kids.
It is a fairy tale.
Why start off with fairy tales though? You could just say the reason for the season is because of the resurrection of Jesus.
I think you do say that too, because you get your Easter speeches. You're going to church, and the first thing you learn is he rose.
That's not true.
It is true. It's what you choose to remember. But I think that it is true. Now, I agree with you when I don't think that we should pay them as pagans. I think it's the Easter egg hunt and the symbolizations is an activity. But to know the true meaning and the reason for the season, that is the resurrection of Christ, I think is real. But I think that you have selected memory. Most of your generation.
Why do you always just think it's a selective memory thing? Because I'm talking to kids now in this day and age, and they're saying I haven't heard nothing about the resurrection of God. They're like, "Where my Easter basket at?"
About go to church?
Yes. Where my Easter basket at? What I'm gonna get for this? Oh, we gonna do an egg hunt. And I'm just thinking like, I want to let them be kids, of course, but I thought back like, well, then when I was that age, no one ever pulled me to the side either to say, well, this is what the season is really about.
Of course, you had a speech every Easter.
Okay, but was it?
I don't think you have to worry about too much of those eggs. They're so expensive this year. I don't like the Easter bunny. I don't like the eggs, and I don't care for Santa Claus and all that charade. I really don't.
Okay, but if you don't do it, why? If you don't care for it, why do it? Because
I don't do it. I don't allow my kids to take Easter pictures
out because literally
But I don't like to go to the mall and have my kids sitting on a horny Santa Claus. I don't do that. I don't like Santa Claus. I don't like Santa Claus. I do not like Santa Claus. I just don't. I think it's inappropriate.
I think that we have to put things in perspective. Y'all know I'm big on communication and education. I think that is what you teach your kids, that Easter is about the resurrection of Christ. You have to teach the story. I think that that's why I say you have selective memory, because I can't think of an Easter that you didn't have a speech. I can't think of an Easter that... You keep bringing up
the speech, but did I have an understanding? I can get up and make a speech now and it still be like, what was that about?
But you were learning. You were in Sunday school. If you didn't learn it, it's because you didn't want it, but you were given the opportunity to retain it. You were taught.
Okay, but listen to this. How about this? How crazy would it be if I didn't have something competing with the thought of what it actually meant? Okay, yes, I am a child, so I am going to go over to the more vigilant things. If I see an Easter bunny, if I see eggs, if I see kids having fun outside, yes, I'm going to lean more to that way. But how about if it was just never even brought to me and the only thing that was taught to me was the resurrection of God? Do you think that I would have retained that a bit more because that's the only thing I'm learning?
Why do you have to pick and choose? You were taught about the resurrection of God, but the Easter bunny and the eggs were just for fun and play. Your ass watched cartoons, but you didn't think Tom and Jerry was real. But now all of a sudden, when you want to compare the two, it's that you were taught wrong. You knew.
I never said
you knew that they were fake. To this day, you love the Lion King, but you know lions don't speak. They're symbolizations, but it's not to say that you're to worship them. They're pagans or they're idol. You pick and choose how far you want to go with them.
But my thing
to this day, if your tooth came out, you want a tooth fairy.
But my thing is, what is the reason for starting off that way? Don't get so defensive.
It's not about getting defensive, but I think that it's just little things that gave kids something to look forward to. It's just little things that were just fun play. And as you mature and you grow old, then I've never had the conversation with you to tell you that Santa Claus ain't real, but at a certain age, you knew Santa Claus wasn't real.
And I was heartbroken. I can't remember that. I was heartbroken when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
Were you?
You said how old was I?
Yeah, when you found that out.
I think around.
And I can't think of anybody, maybe some little kids. I can't think of anybody that feel like the big bunny is a real Easter bunny.
No, I don't think they feel like that's real. But you guys are getting defensive, so let's just go.
You always want to oversensitize things and blame. Now, I do think that people take the Santa Claus thing.
Aren't the only parents that do it. I'm talking about generations. What is the origin of lying to your kids first?
I don't think it's lying. It's not lying. That's the part that I take serious.
No, it's leading to something. It's something to engage you.
It's a buildup. It's something to incite you, something to look forward to. It's a fairy tale. Same thing with cartoons, all animation. You know that it's not real. It's an engagement. But I think that with the engagement, you have to teach the real story behind these things. I think that everyone needs to know that Christmas symbolized the birth of Jesus, and they need to know the story of Jesus. It's an engagement opportunity. It's something for the kids to look forward to.
But can we all agree, because it's not real, it's a story, it's a lie?
No, it's not.
You're telling your child that
it's a fictional fantasy. Being, it's fictional and it's a fantasy. How many fiction books do you look at or read? It's a fantasy.
Okay, but when does the fantasy cease? It's plenty of times where a child asks, it's always, shh, don't tell him Santa Claus not real. Shh. I mean, just be real. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you enjoy the eggs?
Every last one of them.
Yeah, I love decorating eggs.
What about finding them when you were a little kid?
Yeah, especially if they had some money in them.
Okay.
I appreciate those traditions.
Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then we're going to say, well, why do you put up the Christmas tree? What does that mean? What did that have to do with God? Why do we have a wreath? Why do we buy gifts? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Those are all man-made traditions that people just do to celebrate. but that doesn't mean that they're worshiping the tree or they're worshiping Santa Claus or they're making believe this or make believe that. You have to know the reason for the season. You have to teach what's the true meaning of everything, and not just that Jesus rose. Teach the story of how he rose.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's not the case, but what I'm saying is it gets washed a lot of the times. And even with Christmas, a lot of the times people don't even want to celebrate Christmas because they can't afford to buy a gift. That's not the reason for the season. And some people just get so out of place about it. But these are man-made traditions. It's for the birth of Christ. Like, why are you so bent out of shape because you can't get the Christmas tree?
I agree with you on that. We put the focus on the wrong thing.
And that's all I'm saying. But it also doesn't have to be. Start your child off with the truth. And they can play around with, the Easter Bunny, go Easter honey. But I just don't feel like that should be the focal point of starting them off. And that's all I'm saying. I mean, there's no wrong, no right. No one's at fault. I get it. It is origin stories,
so
and that happens.
What is your suggestion? Can I ask?
Just start with the truth. No one deserves to be lied to from the beginning.
And what is the truth? How would you?
How would I what?
You would just say there is no Santa Claus?
A 2 years old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. How are you going to start that off?
Yeah, I mean, they could just know.
Oh, okay. So where are we? What's the next topic?
So today, and I'm glad that we've kind of got into this. That was a good segue, Raven, actually. Even though we, I don't know. But, so let's talk about spiritual warfare. Let's talk about the spirituality. I would like to, for Easter, we just talked about the resurrection of Christ and what we believe. And I think back an episode or two ago, we talked about being equally yoked and unequally yoked. But when we talk about spiritual warfare, it's not necessarily what you believe. Spiritual warfare is when you're battling evil against what you believe. So I wanted to ask you all, have you all ever felt like you've experienced any spiritual warfare? And if you did, how did you handle it?
Well, for me, praying is everything. I go and pray about any and everything, especially something that I just see impossible, because I know something is going to come up. I know the Lord is going to answer my prayers. So it's always been for me to just pray on it. Stop, breathe, and just know that tomorrow is going to come, which is not promised. And it's going to be all right. For me, go just pray.
But even in your prayer life, have you ever felt like you've been tussling between good and bad and evil, or you just feel like something's just on your back that you can't shake? Or have you ever just felt like you've been in a place like, okay, this is an unfamiliar place for me?
For me, prayer is everything. Whenever I'm at a predicament, and I will pray anywhere. I don't care where it is. When things seem like it's not going right, it seems like I just need to just stop and pray about it, and things just turn for me. I don't think when it comes to dealing with the impossible, I don't think there is an impossible. I just don't. And I've learned from a very early age to just pray about any and everything. Just talk to the Lord about it.
Talk to me, Raven.
I agree with you. Now, I believe that prayer is the answer to everything, but I also want to have a real conversation about when you pray and you have a relationship with God, you know that He's almighty and all willing and everything will work out. But in the midst of your storm, it's just hard. Prayer is the key.
And
but
you
even in the midst,
and you believe it, but you doubt and you struggle.
Exactly. And I think that that's more so along the conversation that I want to have, because everyone has had doubt. Everyone has struggled. Everyone has even had struggles getting down to pray, because it's just like, what's going on? And if you say, and Granny, I don't want to call you a storyteller, but if you say you've never experienced that in your life.
I didn't say I never. I said,
well, let's talk about when you did.
I said, when I do experience things, I pray about it.
Well, let's talk about
That
your
has always
spiritual
been
warfare.
my answer, because, and I don't mind talking out loud to my God. I don't. I talk to him like I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, and I know sometimes I may seem like I need it right then, but I know it's gonna come on time. I experienced this a couple weeks ago, and just out of nowhere, I am a living witness.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree that we are all abundantly blessed, and we all
Very
have
much
strong
so.
faith, and we all pray, and we all know who God is to us and in our lives. We were brought up that way. So I'm gonna share a personal story, and I think that because a couple of weeks ago we do a discipleship class. And I missed the class. And when I came home, Raven was like, "Oh, you should have been in the class tonight. It was talking about spiritual warfare, kind of what you're going through." And I kind of took it because, Raven full of shade. And I was like, and even when I went to work the next day, I was talking to two of my friends, my coworkers and friends. And I said, Raven always coming at me. I say, I missed the class last night, and because I had a work meeting or whatever. I said, well, when I got home, she was like, well, you shouldn't have missed it because they was talking about spiritual warfare, like what you going through.
I
And
didn't
I
say
was
it
like,
like that, first of all.
But
But go
so
ahead.
I was like, well, what she mean, what you going through? So we had just came back from a conference, and one of my friends said, Ursula, think about what you shared with me when you was at the conference. She's right. You are going through a little spiritual warfare. And I took it so offensively when you said it, but then when she brought it to my attention, I was like, oh, she might be on to something. So I had shared with her when we were at the conference that the night before we left to go to the conference, I was just had taken a shower, got ready to get into bed, and I was just really just sitting there. I wasn't asleep, hadn't really said my prayers for the night, but I was just relaxing and chilling. And all of a sudden, I just felt like something had a hold of me, and I couldn't let go. And I was like, oh, God, Lord. And I started praying, this is scaring me, make it stop. And it just stopped instantly. But I just shared that with her. And, we talked about it, and we talked about even when we were there in Maryland about spiritual warfare, and that that it was something, evil something, because God made it stop.
Mm-hmm.
But when you said that to me, I really took it the wrong way, and she had to bring it to my attention that in that week I had something big that was coming up that was weighing on me, and I'm going back and forth as whether I should or should not, and, praying, but even though we say we pray, sometimes we still worry and we still doubt, or we still don't know, for clarity or decision to make. And I was in spiritual warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that I wasn't praying, or it's not that I didn't believe, or that my faith altered or whatever, and I didn't recognize that's where I was.
Yeah. And I recognized it even more when you got defensive in the conversation, because I literally was just coming to share how amazing discipleship class was. I mean, should we not share our testimonies?
Of course, yeah.
And, oftentimes I can tell when people are in spiritual warfare, because if I'm literally just speaking about the goodness, the grace of God, sharing my testimony or just sharing something that I heard, and you're not receptive to it, and I know that you believe in the Lord, I know that you're a Christian, I can already just sense, like, right now, in this moment.
Let me tell you why I took it defensively. Because
Oh,
Raven is a person, we can go and we can hear that same sermon, and I'm sitting there thinking that it applied to her. And we come home, she was like, oh my God, he was talking to you today. Why
can't it apply to both of us?
But she ain't thought about her yet.
No, I have. I think about me all the time, more than you know.
So when she said the discipleship classes, all of a sudden, we was talking about spiritual. You should have been there because this is what you're going through. And I was like,
well, let me say
I always got to be going through.
You're not always going through, but sometimes, you be in the moment. I be in the moment sometimes. And, I want someone to tell me that scripture or something that I feel I can relate to.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like I said, we know the word. We have relationship with God. And we pray, but it just still feels like something is weighing heavy on you.
It does, yeah, because we're human and it happens.
And that's gonna keep you on your knees.
Yeah.
If it's everyday things. No one said it's gonna be easy, And as long as you're on earth, things are going to come at you, devil or whatever. You got to stay prayed up.
Okay. So then I want to take this a different direction too then, because disclaimer, we all Christians. I know I'm going to heaven. So I have an intimate relationship with my God. I'll meet you there.
All right.
Okay. But growing up in our culture, different things, people did different things for spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some of the rituals. It's funny to me now when we think about it, but some people burn sage, burn candles, do this, do that. And, they say they fighting off evil spirits. I saw a news thing today where the guy got on a flight, him and his sister, and they said that the flight couldn't go to the other country because this demons got on the flight with him, and he just woke up fighting and said he was trying to beat the demons, and they had to stop the plane, and he was like he did it intentionally because he didn't want the demons to go to the other country or something. But how do you all remember with our grandmother or with your mother or just people, and people still do it now, the root man, the this, the that, all type of crazy stuff, but how do you all remember that people believing in that were Christians and believed in God went through their spiritual warfares?
Well, I still see this today. I didn't grow up. I didn't know what sage was until I got to college. We didn't grow up burning sage. I mean, I had never seen that before. And literally when I got to college, everybody was into crystals, sage, incense. And I like incense. I ain't gonna lie. I picked that up. But the sage and everything, I just felt like I don't need all of that. Like literally, I've had friends who, when they get a new apartment, when they get a new car, they sage it out, saying that they taking out the demons. They walk around, pray and sage. I had never seen it. That's something that we just didn't do. But, I don't.
Somebody told me a couple of weeks ago to do it. They was like, girl, you better get you some sage.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't knock how people interact with God, though.
Is that God?
Do you not think it is?
I don't think so. You think it's the sage. I don't entertain the devil with nonsense. Like I said, and I've had some incidents that happened to me, and I don't think I even regret that it happened because I asked for it. I asked for it to happen.
How? What do you mean?
Okay. I know I've got to get some phone calls behind this because some of my friends remember this, but. I was dieting, and I went to work, and I put my food in the refrigerator. And it came time for lunch. Someone had eaten my food. And the thing that got me, I was really upset, and I just felt like just taking everybody's food and just throwing it around in the refrigerator. I was upset, but these two people came to me. Loretta, did you have hot sauce on that fish? I said, yeah. Lots of it, huh? And just so giggly about it. Did you have vinegar on your fish? I said, yeah. On your cabbage too, huh? Just describing my plate. Oh, I bet you were ready for that. And I said, well, you know what? Whoever did it. And they were just so tickled about it. And I'm thinking, why would you eat my food and I got to be here another 7 hours? I said, you know what? I said to them too, whoever did it, I hope your parents die.
Whoa.
I said that. And I didn't think
honestly,
I thought you would say, I hope you get the shits or something. You said the parents.
I hope
and you meant it, didn't you?
I meant it. I was so furious. I was upset. One of the girls' mother died, and the other one father died. To this day, I still think about that. But they ate my food. I often,
we better pray right now. You said that's how you fix it. Let us pray.
I spoke it, and the supervisor said to me, Loretta, I'm sorry about that. And they kept on talking about it. And I remember I had that Mexican cornbread, too.
All right.
And they kept describing everything that was in my food. And I didn't butcher it to them. I said, whoever.
Jesus, keep us near the cross.
Please, be careful. Let me tell you, you have to be careful what come out of your mouth.
You do not.
See, and I spoke that. I really.
So do you think you live with that, or do you think
I don't
that?
live with it because they ate my food. No. I told you I'm a deep believer. And I think he deals with the unjust like he deals with anything else, you know. But I don't think they thought about it anymore.
If you said that to them and then their parents died, they probably think you the root lady.
They can think what they like. But I don't entertain it because I do think I have some type of
You told us spiritual
thing like that. And that's why I don't entertain
Well,
it.
do you believe in the root lady?
No, listen, yes. Yeah, I believe in witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can find about it. It's in the Bible, and it does. And they say if you indulge, that's why I don't indulge it, because I think I do have that gift, but I don't indulge because I don't want to entertain that. I don't want to entertain that.
So what do you think the gift is? What do you think when you say you have that gift? What is it?
Like I spoke that, I can speak other things, because like I said 2 weeks ago, I literally asked for something and said, I don't know what's going to happen with this. And before I knew it, it was just.
You know, Granny, now that you mention it, I think you may have passed that to me.
Now Raven has
you didn't give it to me, and I'm glad.
Raven has given me target cards, but I refuse to look at them.
I did buy her some tarot cards because
I'm not gonna.
Because she speaks of this so often.
I will not entertain it. I will not entertain it because these things can backfire you. And see, when you try to do things for the good, someone's gonna come after you by doing something for the bad.
Okay.
And then when you get caught up in the stuff, sometimes the devil is just as busy as anybody else.
It's not kingdom building.
Right.
It's definitely.
So I don't want to. And my mom has always said, "You can do." I don't want to entertain that.
Now, Granny thought she was a root lady for real.
I don't want to entertain that, and I don't. To
you
this
remember
day,
your mama thinking she was a root lady?
Yeah. She had a few followers. But I've got to say this too. I have tried to have my palms read, and they could not do it. I was in the Virgin Island, and this lady just insisted.
You just said you don't entertain that, so why would you try to do it?
Because she came to me and she kept, come on. And I told her no. What I see is they cannot do it. And listen, when people, sometimes you just want to know. You just want to see. What do you see? Do you see anything, if anything? But they cannot read my palm. And I think people can read your palm.
Okay. Well, besides palm reading, Sage, any other things that you feel are not of, I guess, the godly way when it comes to spiritual interactions?
That's not the godly way?
You all believe in voodoo?
Yeah, voodoo, she just said the root lady, the witchcraft. Yeah. I believe in all of that. But I, again, like Granny said, I don't entertain it and I don't consume myself with it.
I don't give it any merit. I don't want to say whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it, but if you believe in it, I don't deal with you. I mean, if you practice it, let me say that. If you practice it, I don't want no dealings with you. I'm not coming to your house. I don't eat with you. I don't break bread with you. I'm cordial and we move on. I think that you have to buy into it for it to have power of some type of, and I can't buy into anything that has a stronger spiritual being, a power than God for me. Because I was dating this guy before in Fort Lauderdale, and his mother got caught up with somebody that was, and she stayed sick. She couldn't get herself together for years. And the person told them that they did put voodoo on her. But everything that they said in this letter came to fruition over years and years and years and years and years. And that convinced me, but that also taught me when people show you who they are, I tell you what they're going to do, and all this crazy stuff that they believe in, and these Ouija boards, let them have that life.
I don't play with the Ouija board.
Yeah, let them have that life.
Just
like there's good spirits and God has spirits. Spirits are real, and there's bad spirits out there too, and evil is here to seek and destroy. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you buy into it, you've lost the battle. You've given into it.
Doesn't that just make you feel as though you need to stay armored? You
got to stay armored.
You have
of course.
to stay in the Word. Mm-hmm. To me, it just builds my endurance with the Lord. Like I just know I need to be able to like just be a prayer warrior. I want to stay in good standing regardless. And not just for to fight off battles, but also to just keep myself encouraged and just keep myself on a steady pace.
Yeah, because people think that it's got to be voodoo or witchcraft or for you to be in spiritual warfare or for it to be evil against you. But the devil attacks the things that you love the most. And sometimes it's the least little thing.
Sometimes it's
and it's a buildup. And sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's just your personal habit. Sometimes your prayer life. It's your journaling. It's your meditation time. It's any little distraction to get you off your game. So
yeah,
like you say, you just got to be diligent. You got to be vigilant. You got to be diligent. You got to know what you know, and you got to study the word. You got to know. But, and I hate to keep saying but, because there's no perfect Christian. There's no perfect or sinless person. God is the only one that was without sin. So change it from spiritual warfare. Let's just talk about spirituality a little bit, period, and what spirituality looks like to you. And because some people practice religions, but then some people have true spirituality. And I think that you've got to have that intimate relationship, and it's got to be spiritual to you. It's not about practicing a faith and going to church. And even though I think he does want us to fellowship with our like-minded people, but where is your spirituality lie? What is really deep and rooted in you? Ms. L.
Well, now, when you say what is deeply rooted, what do you mean?
What does your spirituality mean to you? Like I say, some people think that religion is spirituality, but your faith base or your denomination doesn't necessarily your gateway to Christ. That's not really spirituality. It's deeper than that, or it should be deeper than that.
It is deeper than that, and I think it's all for me within. Some people can look at you and just assume that you don't know God. Then you got some people look at you and they say, oh, she's just too holy. I don't like that. I don't have to go to church every Sunday. I don't have to try to quote scriptures and everything. I don't have to do that. The Lord gave me a lot of gifts. So I stay busy with them. He allowed me to be able to sing. I can sing church songs, and they sound good to me. When I pray, I'm not standing all side the road and trying to let everybody hear me. I'm praying to him. I'm just not trying to prove my religion to anybody. Now, y'all want me to tell you another story?
Mm-mm.
Because people can take, and people can try to use your religion against you.
Oh, they do. It happens to me all the time. They do.
People try to beat you with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going on with
Granny, me. Okay, so this is the thing. What you're saying is how I am as well. I don't feel like I need to display my relationship with God in a sense to where I have to prove it to you. But the Bible does say that you should, in a sense, recruit others to become Christians.
But people are supposed to automatically see Christ in you.
That's what
by
I was
your
about
walk,
to say.
by the way you live, by the way you talk, by your actions, by how you give, how you treat them, how you, and they can try to challenge you. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to know every verse in the Bible to be a Christian. You don't have to know every verse in the Bible to know how to love on people. You don't have to know every verse in the Bible to know how to do unto other people like you want them to do unto you.
Right.
And how to be a witness for God's kingdom. It's no perfect saint. And you don't have to be sinless. You don't have to be flawless. You don't have to be without error. But you always got to be able to grow. And people just should see Christ through you.
Well, a lot of people don't want to see Christ in you. And they're not trying to see it. When you wake up in the morning and you praise the Lord, and you have acclamations, I do, all on my walls. I can read different little Bible verses, different little things I need the Lord to do, and different things I said. I'm trying to live it the way I want to live it. That's basically, and I'm trying to do it, as Christianly as I can. But I don't need nobody else trying to tell me how they do it. And like, this lady come out, we wake up 4:00 praying. You want to go to pray? No, I'm asleep 4:00. No, I get up around 6:30. Hear me, Don't call me with that. That's not me.
Well, what about because yeah, you're pretty funny. What about the acts of like Christ and knowing God to the point where you live a fearless life? Because Granny, you and I clash a little bit all the time about just me being just fearless. Most recently, we got into a little debate about, I think I was walking home or something. When I lived in, yes, oh my goodness.
That upset me.
I know it did. So I was walking home from a concert. I was out of town, and I called my grandmother, and I think Mom, you was on the phone too, just to tell them like how good this concert was. It was a gospel concert I had just came back from. I was really just in the best of spirits. And Granny, you were so upset with me. You didn't even listen to what I had to say because your whole thing was, why are you walking by yourself? It's nighttime. It's unsafe, isn't it? And I told you, I said, the Lord has me. It's not about what the Lord has. Like, you just going on. But you don't want me to believe that? Are you saying don't believe in the Lord protecting me?
I'm telling you,
I know He has a cover
sense
over me, but I wasn't scared. I was in a safe space. I felt safe, and I just really felt like the Lord had me. And I told you that, and you were like, almost doubtful about it. You were trying to make me doubtful about it.
Listen, when you put yourself in harm's way, you got to have some common sense about something. In a strange city, walking down the street, Jacksonville is not a safe place, number one.
But I'm covered by the blood of God.
That's all right. They bury them every day. They bury them every day, covered by the blood. And then when you die, they ask you to ashes, dust to dust. You're out of here. and you probably go into heaven. But you didn't have to be put in that. You didn't have to be put in that predicament. To me, that's just crazy. And I'm still upset about it.
I think, and she's correct in that way, because bad things happen to good people every day.
I understand that, but I can't live in fear.
Here and you listen, if I leave here and it's dark and you tell me don't go down 8 Mile Road, I go down there and 2 deers hit me. What I'm doing down there? There's not a light down there. Certain parts of it, you're gonna lose telephone connections. Am I asking for it or what?
It's
when
not
I could have went down 19.
Granny, you can't live your life.
I don't live in fear, but I don't live in craziness either. When I go to bed at night, I lock my door.
I mean, yes, you should.
Well, if you think everything is all right, why are you locking it?
Listen, all I'm saying is, when
I'm not
I
going
wake
anywhere.
up in the morning, I pray for the Lord to cover me and order my steps. If I have discernment that the Lord is telling me I can take this walk, I'm going to take it. I don't have fear of who's going to be behind me, what's beside me, what could happen. I don't even think about that.
You need to think about it.
I don't, because I know the Lord is protecting me. If He give you
concernment and He give you common sense, I'm not going anywhere walking down a street. Great. And I pass the bar, lots of people. Well, if you pass a bar and you are a young girl walking down the street, what the people on the other side saying? There's a hooker? Oh, she coming from the church. No, they're not saying anything about that. She coming from a concert.
So now you're worried about others' perception. I can't live.
That's who's gonna get you. The others. Granny, the others.
Just pray for me. Cover me.
I do pray for you.
Because let me tell you what it does. I'm walking. I'm already alone. Now I'm telling you. I'm like, Granny, the God got me and everything. But now I'm still walking, and now you're putting fear in me as I walk. Now I'm questioning my journey. Now I am looking over my shoulder. Do you think that's safe? Now I'm looking lost, confused. No, it's not.
You better look over your shoulder. You don't know who's walking behind you.
Oh, Lord.
Do you agree with that?
I think that you can put yourself in harm's way. I think Raven, that's when she first moved back home. So, everywhere in New York they walk, and she in the city. And so she was like, I'm not going to keep paying for parking. I'm just going, when I get to my hotel, the venue's just around the block, I'm going to walk it. She was like, it's downtown. There's a lot of people out or whatever. But that's what they do in New York. Now, I agree she wasn't familiar with where she was, but she said she was covered. She felt good about it. One thing about that I know about Raven too, she real stranger danger.
Yes.
So she has a good presence and awareness of her surroundings at all time, and she's everybody looks suspicious to her. She's stranger. She criminal minds. They don't need to play another episode because she.
And I'm just led by faith. It is a lot of times I step outside and I'm like, nah, I ain't walking down that street today. It feels eerie, and I don't go down that street. Mm-hmm. If I feel it in my gut, I will listen to the Lord. But if I honestly feel, but Granny, you just feel like you should just live in fear, and I don't
know.
Everything is always, and this is just a generational thing. I believe in your generation, it's never the first thought is never a good thought. What if you go outside and get hit by a car and ran over by it? What does that have to do with my day? I could get hit by a car driving.
I live on a safe street that I could walk on. But one of the neighbors have dogs taller than the fence. Those dogs could jump the fence. You think I'm going to keep walking down there?
But why think about what could happen?
Now,
why not just
when we're talking about generations, the older generation are big fear mongers.
Yes. It's
and
just like,
you can
what?
be like, oh, I met so-and-so in the club and we're going to go down to the cigar bar. All right, they're going to see you hanging in the closet tomorrow.
You're like, what?
It's like, what they do. It's like, I think I've had enough conversation, or we know somebody in common, or
don't trust anything. We used
to not lock our doors, but we ain't pulling that junk now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, times have changed, but you do have to have discernment. And I ain't saying that everybody you meet you just welcome them in with open arms, but I think that, like Raven said, you have to have some discernment. You pray for God to give it to you and His covering, but you can't block some blessings or live in fear or limit some of the things in your experiences because of the what ifs.
Yeah, I mean, if I lived by the what ifs, Granny, some of the places I would never experience, some of the places I would never travel. And honestly, if I listened to you, I probably would have never even been out the country, because you always
I'm
tell
all about going out the country.
All about
not
going,
right now.
But it's always every trip I tell you I'm gonna take. Oh, they shooting over there. Oh, they got bombs
I'm
over
just
there.
telling you what the news tell me.
Hear that.
But you need to be careful.
I don't want to hear that. Just say have a good time.
They're trafficking over there.
Yeah, don't get trafficked. And then you don't talk to this. Just say have a good time. I see you when you come back. I pray for you. Just pray for you.
But when she say those things to you, does it make you more aware? Do you go and be
I'm already going aware. I'm never going to go anywhere and haven't made sure my surroundings.
Some things, can you honestly say some things?
It's scary.
You be like, my granny told me about that.
It's scary.
So sometimes you be like, well, my granny told me about that.
I already know. Do you think I don't go out of town knowing people get trafficked? I know that. You ain't got to tell me that 50 times before I go on the trip.
But you're not a big news buff, so sometimes you may be going to Thailand and granny's like, well, they said such and such happening on Thailand. Yeah.
No, I asked her about the news things, yeah.
So why are you asking me? If I'm fearmongers, and because I keep up with it. I mean,
But you can agree too, because even with you like to go, and every time you ready to get on the road, we have some older relatives like, you ain't got no business still driving, and you be like, why are they?
Exactly.
What's with that fearmongers?
Because they don't drive anymore.
Yeah, right. Don't speak
and
that.
And they'll seem that I can't drive anymore.
Right,
they don't drive
speak
anymore.
That on you. Don't speak that on you.
But that's what I'm saying. The power in the tongue. If somebody is already taking a step to just kind of get out, be encouraged, be brave, why use your tongue to think, to use your mind to think and your tongue to speak negativity? Don't do it.
That's safety.
What could happen?
That's safety.
Oh, Lord. I guess it's just a generational
Well, we have to
thing.
speak for good. We have to speak for good. And in all things, God is good. Can we
Yeah,
agree about
and
that?
you can't remember where you go.
You can't remember
But
where we go.
I mean,
so
they're
seek ye
just
first.
Yeah, but there are just some evil spirits out there that's just not gonna let you.
And everybody's not for good. Good things happen. Bad things happen to good people every day.
Every day.
Bad
But you gotta
things
stay
happen to
prayed
saved
up.
people. Bad
Yeah.
things happen to unsaved people.
Mhm.
But spiritual warfare. I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk about that. Where do you go? How do you deal with your spiritual warfare?
Where do you go, Paul?
I go to the Lord. And first of all, you have to be able to identify it. Like I say, I was in it and not even realizing that I was, or I was, I deal with things a little differently. Like even now that Raven is back home, she can be like, well, something's on your mind. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And
they never want to talk about stuff. That's a generational thing too. Don't.
But Raven want to put you on the couch, talk about it.
I do not.
You know, so, and sometimes you up for, okay, let's explore that option. And then sometimes, to me, you project things that I'm not feeling. Or you project incidents or things that I haven't experienced or haven't gone through.
Let me tell you, and we're going to wrap up after this because I feel like now we're getting personal. But just how, when you said, when it comes from, so I think with anyone, when it comes to someone close, you feel as though it's projection, but we can see you, we know you, we love you. But then when you go hear it from the outside, like how you said you had to go to work and somebody told you the exact same thing I told you, then it's like, well, dang. But because if they had never said that, you still would have felt as though I had came home and was just trying to like jump on you. And I wasn't. I don't
think it was joke. I think that you meant what you said. But I think, like I say, everybody deal with things differently. And I didn't acknowledge that I was in that place.
But you wouldn't have acknowledged it if you
and
hadn't
I still
heard
would
it.
not have,
Yeah.
yes, because the way that I deal with things is like she said, I get on my knees and I pray, and I'm a person that I'm like, just keep pressing on, keep on and see what the end's going to be. I take God with me. I do right by people. I am who I am. I'm not perfect. I do my own little thing. Everybody have their vices.
Yeah.
But I sometimes don't acknowledge maybe my turmoil. And the way that I deal with my turmoil is I just keep praying. I just keep pressing on. And I say that, you know, God's going to work it out. Whatever it's going to be for me. Mm-hmm. And whatever is not, then I say, okay, that wasn't meant for me. And I just keep going. If I need to shift and, you know, straighten up my crown, I do it and I keep going. But I do it without a whole lot of thought process. Whereas with you, Raven, you like to think it through and say, well, what did I learn from that? Well, how can I do that differently? Or where does that, where is that coming from?
I like to address it.
Was my behavior with that from childhood?
If you don't address a problem, you are sure to run into it again. And everybody keep wondering why they're going in cycles or repeating this or why I feel like something won't go away. You haven't addressed it. Address your problems.
So that you don't repeat them?
So that you don't repeat them. And sometimes, even if you address them, you may fall short of repeating them, but now you know how to deal with it this time because you've dealt with it before.
So I think that everybody deals a little differently. And when it comes to your spirituality and your faith, it's a personal journey. Even though we can all have the same beliefs, all of us have our own intimate relationship with Christ. And we talk to him differently. He knows us through and through more than we know ourselves or more than we know each other. So I think that if you don't have one, get you one. Spiritual warfare, learn how to pray your way out, see your way through, and whose face to seek when you're going through. That's all I got.
That's a lot. That's loaded, Paul.
Okay, it's been a wrap then. Make sure you subscribe if you have any comments. If you're going through some spiritual warfare, if you need someone to talk to, if you have some questions for us, subscribe. Leave the questions in the comment. We'll be sure to answer them.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
We need it. Ta-ta.
Peace. Love you.